Hello everyone. The mineral that I have chosen is manganese, which is element 25 on the periodic table. Johann Gottlieb Gahn and Carl Wilhelm Scheele were colleagues working on isolating different compounds. They were heating pyrolusite, which is manganese oxide, in the presence of charcoal, which allowed for the men to realize that they had discovered a new mineral. Manganese received its name due to the magnetic properties it contains. It comes from the corrupted Latin word magnetism or magnes. Industrial application of manganese. Manganese is added to molten steel to remove oxygen and sulfur and is alloyed with steel to make it easier to form and work with and to increase steel's strength and resistance to impact. Railroad tracks are made with up to 1.2% manganese. It is also used to give an amethyst color to glass and giving the color of amethyst gemstones. Also, it is used to prevent the formation of hydrogen on dry cell batteries and a drying agent in black paints. Function in the body. Manganese is a constituent or being a part of multiple enzymes, while also being an activator of many other enzymes. Manganese superoxide dismutase is the principal antioxidant enzyme in the mitochondria. Because mitochondria consume over 90% of the oxygen used by cells, they are especially vulnerable to oxidative stress. The superoxide radical is one of the reactive oxygen species produced in mitochondria during ATP synthesis. Manganese superoxide dismutase catalyzes the conversion of superoxide radicals to hydrogen peroxide, which can be reduced to water by other antioxidant enzymes. Manganese deficiency results in abnormal skeletal development in a number of animal species. It is the preferred cofactor of enzymes that are required for the formation of healthy cartilage and bone. A number of manganese-activated enzymes play important roles in the metabolism of carbohydrates, amino acids, and cholesterol. It is used in gluconeogenesis, which is the production of glucose from non-carbohydrate precursors. Also, it is used in the urea cycle to detoxify ammonia. In the brain, it helps convert the toxic amino acid glutamate to glutamine. When the skin is damaged, increased production of collagen occurs. Manganese is required for the activation of prolidase, an enzyme that functions to provide the amino acid proline for collagen formation in human skin cells. Interactions with other materials. Iron. The specific absorption and transportation mechanisms of manganese have not been determined. There is evidence that both manganese and iron share common absorption and transport pathways. If one eats a meal that is rich in iron, they will have less manganese absorption, and vice versa. Men generally absorb less manganese than women due to higher iron storage in men. Iron deficiency has been shown to increase the risk of manganese accumulation in the brain. Magnesium. When taking 200 milligrams per day of supplemental magnesium, has shown lower levels of manganese. It is either by decreasing manganese absorption or by increasing its excretion. Calcium. Supplemental calcium at 500 milligrams per day showed slightly lower levels of manganese in the body. Milk had the lowest impact, while calcium carbonate and calcium phosphate had the greatest effect. So in conclusion, all interactions with these other minerals are negative because when higher levels of these minerals are consumed, the lower level of manganese will be present. Recommended adequate intake. The estimated average dietary intakes range from 2.1 to 2.3 milligrams per day for men and 1.6 to 1.8 milligrams per day for women. The Food and Nutrition Board of the Institute of Medicine have set an adequate intake. This table is based on the Total Diet Study, which is an annual survey of the mineral content of representative American diets. Intake is higher for men, as I discussed earlier, due to more iron storage. So we can see on the chart that infants 0 to 6 months, males and females, should have an adequate intake of 0.003 milligrams per day, 7 to 12 months, 0.6 milligrams per day. In children from 1 to 3 years, 1.2 milligrams per day. 4 to 8 years, 1.5 milligrams per day. And then children 9 to 13 years changes, as males need 1.9 milligrams per day and females 1.6 milligrams per day. Adolescents 14 to 18 years is 2.2 in males milligrams per day and 1.6 milligrams per day in females. Adults 19 years and older is 2.3 milligrams per day and 1.8 milligrams per day. And we can see as females are pregnant or breastfeeding that their manganese intake, adequate intake, should be higher. Foods containing manganese. It might be a little difficult to see the table, but it contains many food sources that contain levels of manganese. We can see that there is only one fruit, being pineapple, in the raw and juice state, followed by nuts, legumes, vegetables, cereals, and tea. We can also notice that there isn't a high value necessity for manganese, and to receive our daily needs, we only need to eat little amounts of the food. For example, a half cup chunks of pineapple raw will give us 0.77 milligrams of manganese. And pineapple juice, half cup, will give us 0.63 milligrams of manganese. Pecans, being the highest, will give us 1.28 milligrams of manganese in 1 ounce, or 19 pounds. And it continues on, and as we see, we can gain our manganese, our adequate intake, daily adequate intake for manganese by eating these foods. Other sources of manganese. Manganese is easily dissolved into water and can be found from 1 to 100 micrograms per liter. Most of the sources contain less than 10 micrograms per liter. The Environmental Protection Agency has a 5 milligram per liter or 50 microgram per liter limit on manganese concentration in water. Infants can be exposed to various amounts of manganese depending on how the infant is being fed. Concentrations of manganese range from 3 to 10 micrograms per liter from breastfeeding, 30 to 50 micrograms per liter in cow-based formulas, and 200 to 300 micrograms per liter in soy-based formulas. The good thing is that there have been no cases of manganese deficiency in breastfed infants and no toxicities in formula-fed infants. Also, supplements come in several forms of manganese, such as manganese ascorbate, manganese sulfate, manganese gluconate, and amino acid chelate of manganese. These are mostly found in bone and joint health supplements. Manganese madness. Manganese in prolonged exposures will cause manganism or manganese madness. Most cases include job site exposure where welding occurs. Welding heat allows for manganese to be released into the air, where occurring inhalation enables the manganese to enter the body. This disease only occurs from inhalation and affects the central nervous system. This causes behavioral changes which include fatigue, headache, muscle cramps, loss of appetite, apathy, insomnia, etc. It comes with difficulty to control emotional reactions. There also occurs Parkinsonian-like symptoms such as debilitated motor functions. Dystonia and gait disturbances is when a person affected by manganism will develop a cockwalk. This is when the upper body of the person is extended with locked arms, walking on their toes. Manganism is a progressive disease, and such as Parkinson's disease is only treated with L-DOPA, which only lasts so long, differing with the severity of the progression. Other conditions. Low levels of manganese have been found with patients that have these certain conditions. It has not, though, been thought to be the leading cause of these diseases that are listed. Osteoporosis. Women with osteoporosis have been found to have decreased plasma or serum levels of manganese and also an enhanced plasma response to an oral dose of manganese, suggesting they may have lower manganese status than women without osteoporosis. A most recent study, however, has found that in postmenopausal women with and without osteoporosis did not find any differences in manganese levels. A mineral supplement containing manganese, copper, and zinc in combination with a calcium supplement proved to be more effective than just a calcium supplement for spinal bone loss over a 2-year period. However, the presence of other trace elements in the supplement makes it impossible to determine whether manganese supplementation was a beneficial agent for maintaining bone mineral density. Diabetes mellitus. There have been many studies with diabetics and non-diabetics which show that manganese is important in glucose metabolism. However, there isn't much evidence that has proved that manganese supplementation helps diabetics in glucose metabolism. Epilepsy. A study that was done on rats showed that manganese-deficient rats were more susceptible to seizures than the manganese-sufficient rats. Rats that are genetically more prone to seizures have lower levels of manganese in the brain than blood. In humans, manganese levels were reportedly lower in people with epilepsy from an unknown origin than were those who received epilepsy from trauma or disease. This suggests a possible genetic abnormality between epilepsy and manganese metabolism. Still, it isn't a frontrunner to be a cause of epilepsy and needs further study. In conclusion, we know that it is necessary for many things, and a well-rounded, balanced diet will provide us with the necessary amounts of this mineral. We will keep our bones healthy, blood sugar right, and nervous system working well if we have good genetics and keep our diets well balanced. Also to remember to keep your workplaces ventilated if your career involves welding or melting with metals. Also, manganese and how it functions in our body is still a dark space which is needing a lot of study. So we should always do our own study to see if what we hear is actually true or not. And these are my works cited in the references. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, just comment below.